So guys, you seem to have liked my last Vespa video quite a bit. So guess what? Today we're here with Ximena and we're doing another Vespa video. Let's go!
Of the three eras of Rome. Can you see them?
The best part is Ximena is an architect and her perspective on Rome is quite unique.
Temple of the 4th BC. This one.
Rome gets under your skin and Ximena is no different from the rest of us. So she does her Vespa tours for her love of Rome.
Churches.
Her gutsy little Vespa took us through Rome's narrow streets and past many of its famed landmarks. To keep the length of this video manageable, I selected only a couple of spots. Please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more.
We are in front of one of the most, I would say, outstanding samples of what it was the Roman Empire. This was a sort of a stadium in the antiquity when the most important entertainments that the Romans had was the gladiatorial games. There were more than 300 in the Roman Empire that occupied the entire Mediterranean Sea. For the Romans, the Mediterranean was their sea, Mare Nostrum. We were the owners of the entire coast of the Mediterranean Sea. And wherever the Romans dominated, created buildings like the Colosseo. We're driving in between of two of the 7 hills of Rome. You know, Rome was founded on 7 hills. And here we have the Celium or Telium and the Palatine Hill. We're heading to the south, toward the old Appian Road. You know that all roads led to Rome, and that was a fact. It was not a legend. And before getting there, in the 3rd century, we had an emperor whose name was Caracalla, who did one of these most outstanding baths. They had saunas, they had swimming pool, they had massage rooms, it was a gathering center for more than 1,600 people. This was the hot facade that had windows, had a central heating system, and all the saunas and the hot rooms of the bath were here located. They consume more than 10 tons of logs a day to heat these different saunas. We are arriving in front of the ancient walls. It was a ring of about 16 miles that closed an area of more than 3,000 acres. That was the ancient city. This is what anyone would see when they got to Rome. Rome, since the 3rd century up to the 19th century, was a city within this wall. So this was the boundary of the historic city. And this wall had 16 gates, because there were 16 roads leading to Rome. I will show you one of the 16 gates of Rome, of the road coming from the ancient port. The ancient port's name was Ostia. And we're about to arrive to the Ostiense gate. We will get in front of the pyramid, and I want to show you the pyramid and the gate. Wait a minute. This is one of the 16 gates of this wall, Ostiense gate. Whenever the Romans announced a gate, they built 2 round towers. Why the pyramid? because along the roads the Romans built the necropolis, the city of dead. This was a tomb created by one of the best generals of Augustus who lived in Egypt. So he wanted a tomb in the form of a pyramid. Now we are climbing on one of the 7 hills of Rome. This is the Aventine Hill. Before Augustus, it was the seat of all the plebeians, and after Augustus, it became the aristocracy neighborhood. It's still an aristocracy neighborhood in Rome today. This is another nice spot, isn't it? In front of the Palatine Hill, the hill of the emperors. All emperors lived on that hill since Augustus up to the 4th century with Constantine. He was the last emperor to dwell inside that palace. In between the Circus Maximus. What was the Circus Maximus? It was the hippodrome of the antiquity. It was for the horse races. 12 chariots were allowed to race along this 600 meters length stadium. It was like 6 football fields that could hold almost 250,000 people. Okay? Okay, we're about to cross the Tiber River, which you can see down below now is embanked as a river because for centuries Rome suffered of floodings. On the right-hand side, the island of the Tiber, Tiberine Island. It was because of this island that Rome was created at this point of the Tiber. The Tiber was a sort of a bridge for the ancient tribes that moved around the river. We're entering Trastevere, the neighborhood that during the papal period in the 1500 was the working class neighborhood. The barns, the stables were here located, the workers. On the other side of the Tiber, the nobility of Rome in the papal period. Today, wonderful restaurants, pizzerias, little corners where you can have the best Roman food, like this square called Santa Cecilia. As this was the neighborhood of the poor people in the 1600, St. Francis Temple was here done because he was a saint of the poor people. Gianicolo, the hill of Janus, god of the entrances. This was not part of the 7 hills of Rome. It was a special hill. The tradition says that it was on this hill that St. Peter, the first pope, was here crucified upside down. In front of us, one of the many fountains created by a pope, just to show us the water of an aqueduct. This was a very important aqueduct coming from Bracciano Lake up north, and the Pope Paul V was the one who created the fountain to show us that he was providing once more water to the Romans. On this hill that took place a very important battle in the 19th century when this hero for the Italians, Garibaldi, in 1849. There he is. Well, from this hill we can appreciate what is the history of Rome. A city of more than 2,000 years of existence. What you have here below is all those constructions done after the 1400 upon the ancient city. You can see the course of the Tiber River. You can see way down below the 7 hills of Rome, the Colosseum, the Palatine Hill. You can see the altar of the fatherland, which is the symbol of the unity or unification of Italy. But amongst all these buildings, we have one very imposing temple of the antiquity, which is the only temple of the antiquity that is not a ruin, the Pantheon.
Gianicolo is also known for the cannon shot that gets fired every day at noon sharp. I was gonna capture the moment for you, but if you think I was gonna mess it up, well, you're right.